I always like to begin with a full glass of water, the lighting of a candle, feeling my feet planted on the floor, and a big, deep breath in through my nose and exhale through my mouth. Right in that very moment, I called in the fire of the candle, the water that I was drinking, the earth beneath my feet, and the air that we breathe. Those are the four major elements. We couldn't live without them. And I'm incorporating them into almost everything I do right now in my mindful practices. And today, when we talk about self-love, we're going to be pulling in those energies and find ways that support you physically, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, body, emotionally, heart, spiritually, air, and intellectually, because our mind also needs to feel like it's a part of this. If we continue to act as if we are just spiritual beings, that we can transcend and work our bodies into the ground, that is not a sign, a symbol, or an acknowledgement of the temple that we live within. And what I'm learning is the more that I incorporate ways of self-care on all levels, it helps me to feel more holistic and more integrated, which is a very interesting thing because we are such connection-oriented creatures and we want to connect out almost to the point where we forget to take care of our internal connection. And as women, we love to be there, do, mother, take care of, make sure everybody's okay. We are outward focused to the point of our detriment, to the point where our stress levels are making us ill, and sometimes even getting in the way with our relationships, very often getting in the way of us being our most brilliant selves in the world. We aren't even able to focus. It's hard for us to focus right now with all that's going on. So today's chat over coffee is around how can we truly incorporate the practices that feed us so that we can fill ourselves up first, so that we can then be our best, most brilliant self for our others, for our loved ones and our colleagues at work or our business or our big dreams, whatever we are in service to, whoever we are in relationship with. But the first and most primary relationship is this one right here. So let's just start with I did my little grounding ceremony to get started, and I would appreciate it if you had the opportunity and the time and the effort right now. If you're driving, please don't do this. Pause here and wait until you get someplace where you're stopped and you can truly focus on my words and your breathing. So by inviting you to close your eyes and settle into your chair and find ways to soften, where if your shoulders are tense and high up towards your ear, allow them to soften onto your back. Allow your back to soften into the back of your chair. Allow your bottom to rest easy and softly in the seat of the chair. Allow your feet to melt into the ground. Allow your breath to come easy, no forcing. Allow your hands to rest wherever they would like. We're going to soften and open our body so that we can receive. Wherever we need it, our body will know. We just want to open to it and allow it to be. So I like to begin by calling in the energy of Mother Earth. Our planet is electromagnetic energy. That's the gravity holding us in place. We're connected in that way. And let's just call upon more of that energy to support us now, allowing it to come up through our feet as we breathe in. And continue coming up through our legs. And I almost like to see it being like electrical um, emissions or electrical sparks coming up through my feet and my legs, around my hips, and gathering in my pelvic bowl, which I view as my personal power center and my cauldron, if you will, of what I'm going to cook up in the world. Who I am, my light, my brilliance, my vision, my purpose, my passion, all of that. So I'm just going to allow that energy to just run its course. It's on autopilot, but I'm going to turn it up so that it really, I can almost feel the energy coming up through the bottom of my feet and filling up that bowl. And it starts to fill with that silvery, beautiful energy. It's like liquid. And then as that just continues to be, we can also do an exhale and let go of what we don't want. Is there nervous energy that isn't serving us, something that we're worried about, something that we're afraid of, something that's going to be happening in the future, or an issue that we brought into this morning? Let's let that go too. Through your exhale, send that down through the bottom of your feet into the original recycler, Mother Earth. She'll find a way to use that energy, transmute it, transform it, and put it to the best use. So we're just going to set that whole operation into autopilot. And now we're going to focus on your lower belly. In between your belly button and your breasts, you can put your hands on this part of your space within you that tends to house your little girl, the places where we've been wounded, the places and memories and ages where we got stuck because we were doing what we thought was our brilliant thing in the world. We got in trouble, or we got hurt, or somebody left us. And every time those hurts caused a scar tissue in this little girl, she carries that wound with her. And you know what? We operate from that when we get under stress, when fear starts operating, when somebody reminds us of one of those issues, it'll keep popping up. And very often those are programs that are running us. So we want to just hold this little girl, almost like she's the little wild child that, many of us see running around and romping and playing and getting dirty and making messes. And just know that she's just being her bright little self. Think of a puppy. They don't know any better until we love them and train them. It's the same thing. So send a lot of love to that part of your body. That is the beginning of us finding the self-love that we need to fill ourselves up with. Then if you can put your hands on your heart, let's breathe into this area. and allow that area to get huge and expansive. What I love to do is imagine that my heart is a sun, and it's just so bright that it shines brightly from the inside out. Some people like to imagine that we are lighthouses and that this light is shining out to help create more light in the world. Sometimes you just want to imagine that warmth of who you are, sending out your love to all those that you want to bless with love. And we're going to fill this area up with just you. Yes, you love other people. And if you need to tap into the love you have with another to remember what this love feels like, that's totally fine. If you want to remember holding a puppy or a brand new born baby in your arms and looking into the eyes and knowing that you are loving, that's where we want to be. Breathe in as much as you can of that love and imagine it shining out from you in a 360-degree light, a beacon shining out the back between your shoulders, shining out your sides, and it's filling the space all around you. This is your space, your energy, your aura, if you will. And when we fill it with loving light, as opposed to fear and nervousness and grabbing other people's energies to fill it up, it's a whole different energy. So let's send everybody else's energy out of this space, because this is ours, and fill it with our light, all the way out as far as your arms can extend in all directions. So beautiful. And we allow that light to also extend up through our throat and into our third eye and out the top of our head. We also allow that light to go down through our body, down through our legs and into Mother Earth. And send some to that beautiful pelvic bowl of yours between your hips. And now you've added the golden fire light with the silvery earth light. And let's just, if you want, you can circle your hips or do a figure 8 in the seat of your chair, or move back and forth like you're rocking a baby, just to let it all mix up as if you're stirring the pot. From this place of center, your love and your earth groundedness, I like to call in the moon and let her energy, her feminine wisdom, and her beautiful soft light, and the power she has to move water on our planet, to come in and settle somewhere between our solar plexus and our pelvic region. And I can see the moon come in, and she helps me manage my energies of emotion. And a lot of high emotions have been happening with this full moon, the supermoon, the lunar eclipse. And I just ask that the moon energy be there in her stillness and her equanimity. And lastly, we're going to call in the last element of air, the stars, the heavens, the higher energy, universal power source, whatever you want to call it. I like to think of it as the star nurseries that are continuing to create more and more. Continuous creation is going on all around us. And that innovative, creative energy is what I want to download. That inspiration of how I'm to use me, my energy, my purpose, my passion, my strengths, my brilliance to be the best me I can be and to bring forth my work in the world. That inspiration, tied with who I am, is a unique and brilliant light. And that's what we want to play with. So we'll allow that energy to just rain down, almost like we're receiving a shower or we're standing under a waterfall. And that silvery, sparkly fairy dust, if you will, fills us. It circles through our third eye area so that we can be more inspired and see things on a different level. It cleanses our ears so that we can hear beneath the words. We can hear what the wind is telling us and the birds as they chirp. Down through our throat so that we are healed, so that we can speak our truth clearly with our value fully intact and without any apology. This is who we are. This is our value and worth in the world, and it is bright and beautiful. We allow that fairy dust to continue falling into the fire of our heart space, sending sparks out, inspiring us to connect in certain ways with certain people, to write a book, to create, to speak our words out loud, whatever that may be. And we allow that fairy dust to continue down and let our little girl play with it and give her her own stash of it so she can play magic in her little world. And then lastly, let it fall into our pelvic bowl, that cauldron. And now our mixture is complete. As the fairy dust falls into that and the sparks start happening, this is us. This is the power that we have. And we want to play with that as much as possible. It's what I call shine. So as you gently open your eyes and feel your energy bright and shiny all around you, I invite you to play with this practice in whatever way makes the most sense for you. And my invitation to you is, if you are interested in learning additional practices, as well as some really practical tips, tools, and tactics to allow your light to shine even brighter, I have an upcoming series I'd love to invite you to. It's called Shining with Your Passion, Purpose, and Pleasure. We'll delve deeply into an intellectual discovery of what are your strengths, what makes you uniquely brilliant, so that you can speak about it in a way without apology, with confidence and courage. Then we'll dive into, in session 2, more about your vision. How do we take those strengths and how do we create the change that you want to see in the world? And I'll show you some beautiful heart opportunities where you can delve more in here, along with the strength of being in community, so that you can feel what it feels like to follow from your heart versus your head. And lastly, we'll get into an opportunity for you to spend some time with learning what it feels like to tap into feminine presence, where your power is amplified, where you are radiant and magnetic, where you can attract the attention and be seen and heard and valued for the brilliant woman and leader that you are. And if these resonate with you, I invite you to step in, connect with me for a 30-minute consult, because this isn't the right time for everyone, but there are many of you hungry to move forward in who you are and to learn better how to manage your boundaries clearly and with a grace and an ease that doesn't look like the bitchy thing that we've been taught. You know, sometimes we're like, you can't come in my door, you can't come in when I'm working. No, we want it to be with a beautiful grace that is invitational and soft, but very clear and assertive. There's a power that happens when we are fully in, when we fully own our own space, that others get it and they are not going to cross that boundary without asking or being invited. And we hold the key on who comes into our space. It takes practice, and it also takes community, which is why doing these things in a group really amplifies the magic that happens. Everyone gets to see it and feel it because they start noticing everyone else's light going on. And we get feedback of where are we hiding and shrinking, where are we pretending and pushing, and where's the right place to let our brilliance shine through. So I want to just say thank you for joining me for a cup of coffee. And if you're interested in learning any more about what I do as a speaker, a trainer, and a paradigm shifter, I'd love to speak with you. Just feel free to reach out to me at deborah@deborahleanne.com, link with me on LinkedIn, or find my Shine community on Facebook. Take excellent care of you. Until our next time, keep shining. Tune in, turn it on, and turn it up. Simple, but pretty profound and very potent. Bye-bye.